Don't Google yourself. Why? Because you may not like what you find. One day I was bored and decided to search for my own name on Google. I have quite a rare name, so I didn't expect to find many results. Imagine how surprised I was when I came across a website that had my full name in the domain. When I clicked the link, it brought me to a message board. I looked at the profile of the website owner and found out that the person was the same age as me and had the same hobbies and interests. There weren't any posts on the message board, but I was intrigued, so I saved it in my favorites. It was about a month later when I went back to the website. This time, it had more content. There were some diary entries, mostly random things like, "The weather was nice today," or "I'm so bored at work." Things of that nature. However, as time went on, I began to notice more and more coincidences. The person lived in the same city as I did. It struck me as rather strange that two people with the exact same rare name would be living in the same city at the same time. At one point, I noticed that the contents of the diary were quite similar to my own life. One day, I went to a baseball game, and when I checked the website that evening, I found that the owner of the site had gone to the same ball game. At first, I didn't think much of it. After all, tens of thousands of people in the city supported the same baseball team. It began to seem like much more than a simple coincidence. Whenever I checked the website, I would notice little biographical details that seemed too close for comfort. For example, the owner mentioned their pet dog, and the dog's name was the same as the dog I had when I was a child. The website owner posted a picture of their car. It was the same model of car I had been driving when I was in college. They talked about eating at a certain restaurant. It was the same restaurant I had gone to all the time when I was working at my previous job. One day, when I looked at the message board, people had written messages to the owner saying, "Happy birthday." That day it was my birthday as well. I decided to write on the message board for the first time, just out of curiosity. I was going to wish the owner a happy birthday and tell them we had the same name. However, when I tried to write something, I realized that there was nowhere to type your message. It wasn't a message board at all, just a static page. That's odd, I thought to myself. In other words, whoever owned the website had gone to a lot of trouble to make it seem as if it was an interactive site, as if there were other people posting on it, when in actual fact, all the content must have been created by the owner. Why on earth would someone do that? I wondered. I decided to send an email to the owner. It read, "Hi there. Believe it or not, we both share the same name. Nice to meet you." It was just a friendly email. The next day, when I tried to look at the website, I discovered that it was gone. It seemed like it had been deleted. Then I opened my mailbox. There was one reply. When I looked at it, a chill ran down my spine. It just read, "Found you." Story number 2. This happened to me when I was in 4th grade. I used to visit my grandma during my summer vacation. It was a fairly large house with 2 floors and multiple sheds here and there. In the back of the house, there were these woods near one of the sheds. As a kid, I used to travel through these woods from time to time as I liked staying there with the trees and the birds. I know it's weird, but I looked for fossils as well, hoping to find some dinosaurs or something. One day, I was digging and I found a head of something that looked like a bull. I thought I found something like an old species of bison or something, and rushed to my grandmother. I told her of my discovery, and she said it was just a bull that died years ago. I then asked why it was there, and she said people used to bury their dead animals there, and it acted like some sort of pet cemetery. I was kind of disappointed, but I still kept the skull because I found it to be really cool. My grandmother said to throw it away, but I hid it in the shed near those woods, thinking it would be safe there. I then returned the next day, hoping to find more skeletons, and I did. I found skulls of dogs, rats, and some unidentifiable bones. I used to store them in the shed near the woods. One time, I went a little too deep in the woods looking for such finds. Moving past a fence, I began roaming and lost my way. I knew my grandma would be working at her farm, and she wouldn't be home. I was so scared, and night was approaching. The only things I had with me were a hand shovel, a bag, and a small torch. I was moving as fast as I could, trying my best to find my house. As I was walking through the forest, I saw a shadow of something that looked like a deer with large antlers, but something was odd about it. It didn't seem to move, even after seeing me. Usually deer run away after they see someone, and I was surprised that it didn't. Suddenly, it turned to me with its glowing bright eyes, and then to my horror, I noticed it didn't have the body of a deer. It was something else entirely. It had the legs of what seemed like a dog with paws and a body with human-like features. I couldn't see any fur. Instead, I saw skin, rotting skin with dry blood and maggots. I slowly backed away from that thing. To my surprise, it charged at me with a loud roar. I ran without any aim through the thick woods with that thing right behind me, with its glowing eyes and disproportionate body. I ran through every thorny bush and climbed on every ledge until I saw the light of home. I opened the back door and stormed in, closing the door behind me. I peeked through a semi-visible window on the door to see that creature attempting to move up the stairs near the woods to my house. But it stopped midway, turning its bulky head here and there, and then left. I could see its front legs were bigger than its hind legs, like that of a gorilla. I ran to my grandma's room, and she asked me where I was all this time, and that she was worried about me. I kept quiet and lied that I was just around the backyard, and she warned me not to go to the woods without her accompanying me. The very next day, I went to check the skulls I had collected in the shed near the woods to throw them away, as I thought this creature had something to do with those bones, but they were already gone. I still wonder to this day what that creature was and what it wanted from me. Story number 3, The Horror of Harmony Oaks, April 9th, 2020. Sightings of the local horror are scarce this season, but he still haunts the shadows that plague Harmony Oaks. Sources suggest that the beast lives within the twisting caves of central Tennessee, only coming out to hunt when it feels hunger. The creature tends to be first spotted every 10 months, which usually lands in the springtime. The beast is described as a tall, humanoid creature that, at first, appears to be a blonde Caucasian male, but its face is malformed. Not malformed in a purely inhuman manner, but just enough that one can tell that it is not a normal human. Due to the ongoing pandemic, Harmony Oaks inhabitants hope for the horror to either starve or move on to a different location. Local investigator Elijah Forbes states, "For about 15 or so years, this boogeyman has been attributed to over 60 murders and missing persons reports." He continues, "With this lockdown keeping everyone inside, we are hoping that these tragedies will end." Skepticism is abundant, however, as many officials are stating that the mysterious disappearances and deaths are unrelated. Evidence, on the other hand, says otherwise. Hundreds and hundreds of images and videos have been released of this predator roaming the wilderness that line up with the locations and dates of these incidents. Wildlife expert Joseph Starnes claims, all known cave entrances in the Harmony Oaks area have been searched in hopes of finding this wild beast, but no real leads have been reached. He continues, which means that the beast is either hiding in plain sight or coming from another location, further away from the Harmony Oaks area. Remember to never travel alone in isolated areas, and be sure to always carry an item of self-defense on your person at all times. Regardless of whether the horror of Harmony Oaks roams this town or not, it is always wise to stay safe. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed today's story, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more incredible Reddit tales. Share your thoughts or your own experiences in the comments below. I love hearing from you all. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring those amazing stories.